Memory quilts are a unique way to remember family, friends, and fun times, and Elizabeth Widger can customize one just for you. Thank you so much for bringing this. I think this is such a cool idea, Elizabeth.
I do too.
Well, yeah, I bet. Yeah, this has got to be a labor of love. So how did you get started with this?
When I received the news that I was going to be made a great aunt, the anticipated birth of my great nephew just kind of like launched me into trying to do something that was very different, individual, and unique. And so we captured a bunch of photographs from birth through my nephew and his wife's adulthood, different times of the year, Christmas time being a great time for family gatherings, and put them together in a memory quilt for him.
That is great. And we got here on the screen now, we had a Laker fan, which I'm a Laker fan, so I really love that. So you said you use photos, use all these things. How do you make these? Because I would never imagine being able to take a photo and putting it on a quilt.
There's a lot of different things you can do. The big thing is trying to capture the emotional journey, the individual who wants the memory in fabric made. And when I visited with Sharon Norris, who used to be here at Channel 2, she talked to me a lot about the memories that her dad, her sister, and her brother had of them as a family, as well as some very individual memorable moments, things that he said, things that he would use to describe them. You see on Sharons Quilt, he called both her and her sister Mija. And so that was in the script. You can see the Mija. And then the different photos, those are her father's and her hands. Some photographs from over 30 years ago, a little bit beyond, but I won't go beyond that. Yeah. And so
That's a
you just,
shot.
thank
Wow.
you.
Wow.
So she talked to me a lot about his interests. The memories they had. There's some novelty fabric. You said you were an LA Laker fan. He was an LA Laker fan as well. So we obtained some of that fabric and worked it into the whole overall design of the quilt.
Yeah, I think that is so cool.
Thank you.
Well, so speaking of that, how do you individualize these for each person? They come to you. It's got to be, going on that journey has got to be a daunting task. Making it is one thing, but really making it personal is another.
Depending on the memories that the person wants to try and capture would determine how they are orchestrated in the overall quilt. The different designs. Like Sharon brought me literally 2 boxes of clothes. One shirts and ties, another one trousers. Wow. So and there are things that she wanted to have in it, so that she wanted to have his monograms in. So we cut the pockets out of his trousers that had the monograms. And then the back of the quilt we constructed out of the remnants of the trousers and all of his blue jeans.
Really?
So that the back has all of his trousers, the front has the shirts, the ties, and the sports coat, a pair of swimming trunks that are on there. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So that's we were able to do that. Did a lot of pondering and coming up with how it would be orchestrated. But that's how it depends on what the story to be told by the individual.
Right.
Both the individual wanting it and the individual for whom the quilt is.
Right, who want to capture that memory.
Yes.
Well, so what items can you put in there? We mentioned trousers, swim trunks, so it's good we got that covered. And we know that's awesome. So what other items can you use to manufacture the quilt?
You can use pretty much any type of clothing. Some of it might have to be prepared a little differently for sewing purposes. But you can also use pictures. I would suggest if your viewers are going to want one of these with a photograph in it, that they use a very high resolution camera because they do come out better. Still, we can work with other types of photographs. You can use linens. You can take table linens and build them into, or bed linens, and put them into the overall construction of the quilt. We also took buttons off of his shirts and off of his jackets and inserted them at different places throughout. So it really depends on what the individual who wants the quilt done. A lot of t-shirts are used at times, but clothing is a real popular item, as is photographs.
I bet, to have that real personal effect, you know, dad's favorite shirt or something like that. How long does it take to make one of these?
Good question.
I guess it could vary, wouldn't it?
It really could. The big thing depends on the memories, the trip down memory lane, and how many they want captured. And beyond that, then, is primarily the size. And so each of these, I can tell you, took me about 2 months to make. That wasn't doing it full time, but to get and capture and tell the story that needed to be told about all of them, that's about what it took for each one of those, Chad.
Wow. That's amazing. I mean, that is really
you.
beautiful work.
Thank
Well,
you.
so how can our viewers contact you if they'd like to learn more and get one?
I have an email address. They can contact me. It is eawigder@gmail.com.
Okay.
Phone number 505-286-5611.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you so very much. I really
Thank you.
appreciate you bringing these in. Great work.
Thank you very
Great
much.
work. Yeah,
Appreciate it.
absolutely. Well,